Hello, and welcome to So You Think You Can Rule Persia, the podcast where we rate and review all the rulers of Persia from Diocles to Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. I am Sariel, and my pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Umberto, and my pronouns are he, him. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 96, Yazid I, or Yazid ibn Muawiyah, where we will find out what the second Umayyad Caliph is like. So last time we had Muawiyah taking the caliphate from the sort of elected republican-ish style of governance into what is now fully some sort of monarchy. So it's a direct succession. So how do you think it's going to go, Sariel? Do you think that basically having set up the caliphate for his dynasty, Yazid is going to be able to continue to have a nice prosperous reign? Or do you think that actually there's going to be enough resistance to this novelty that things will crash and burn? Or do you think it's going to be somewhere in the middle?
Oh boy, I feel like I already answered this last time because we were also discussing it, his decision to do this. Yeah. It's really going to depend on how the rest of the population take it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, knowing how difficult it's been so far, I don't expect it to get any less difficult anytime soon. However, our previous caliph has been the first one to reign for like a decent amount of time and die of natural causes.
Yeah, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years is like, it starts to be like, okay, that's like someone's, like, it's a generation.
It's almost a generation.
Yeah,
of people.
it's,
Yeah, exactly.
People can have like grown up to their 20s or like, it's all right. 20 years is okay. Especially when you rise to power fairly old. Because the guy died of natural causes, so like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's truly just like him getting old. And like having some sort of succession always helps. Whatever that is. I am a bigger fan of a democracy and being able to vote for who is going to succeed. But then you have to respect the system of voting and actually recognize whoever gets voted. And, so far we haven't really... They were like, no, we need to figure out who is like... They didn't install a system of like deciding who the next leader would be. It was just like, we have Muhammad, who is the prophet, the guy. And then he passed, and then they were like, what? What now? And it kind of,
Yeah, and it was elective sometimes, other times the previous caliph was deciding, so it's
the precedence is not quite there. So, like, this gives a little bit of stability in that sense, as long as people want to go with it, which I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Find out, I suppose.
Yeah, but I would expect things to work out. Unless we have a really short episode of like, he immediately gets murdered, so on to the next.
This episode is secretly just about cookery in that time period.
You've done that before, so I wouldn't be surprised. No, I mean, I guess I would like to think that we have a little bit more stability, but also I'm not thrilled about the noble houses essentially like getting their place back in ruling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that is what's currently happening. Our previous...
That is, I mean, the Umayyads have been a noble house for many years, so...
Our previous caliph finally got himself back in charge. Yeah, back into the powerful circles, and now it's like, okay, now we can all go back to normal. Like, sure, we had this thing with the prophet, and like now there's this religion that like people really care about, but the right people are in charge again. Right people, air quotes,
yes, exactly. Everything has changed so that nothing must change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Surprise me.
Okay. Well, let's start with Yazid's origins. So Yazid was born somewhere between 642 and 649 as the son of the previous Caliph Muawiyah and the daughter of a Syrian nomadic leader of Christian origins. So he's Christian on his mother's side.
Because that's a DNA thing,
That's the thing, yeah, exactly. You just draw Punnett squares for what religion you end up being.
I mean, I guess for Jews, that kind of happens, right? So
Certain religions count that way. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Yeah.
But his mother is a woman called Maysoon, who was one of the earliest female Arabic poets that we know of. So that's pretty
Ooh,
cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yazid also had several half-siblings, among which was an older brother who was born of a mother of the Quraysh, which would have been quite relevant because that means that he is essentially a pure-blooded noble, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But this other brother wasn't chosen as the successor, either for a skill issue or because Yazid's Syrian connection would make it easier for him to control the core of the caliphate, because now the caliphate has moved its heart from Medina and Mecca all the way to Damascus, which was the core of where Muawiyah was. So we're sort of recentering away from Arabia because, to be fair, Damascus and the rest of the Levant has been the center of this region for millennia, so why not make your center of operations there? That's important to look at. And yeah, speaking of Yazid's half-siblings, we get a story about his youth from Ibn al-Athir. And in this, there was jealousy between the mothers of Yazid and one of his brothers, Abdallah. Muawiyah was accused of playing favorites, and so he set up a test to show that Yazid was objectively the better son. So, of course, he should succeed.
I love that it's like, no, it's not that I have favorites, it's just objectively he is better. Isn't that having a favorite, though? Debatable.
I mean,
This is not my personal taste.
Right,
He's just...
Surely, yeah.
He is just better. Get over it.
It's just objectively the better son.
Yeah. No. Oh, man.
So, Muawiyah asked both his sons to request anything of him. Whatever they want, he would grant it. And Abdallah, the other son, asked for a dog and a donkey, while Yazid asked to be freed from the fires of hell. And well, how could he be freed from the fires of hell? Well, by being made Muawiyah's heir and becoming caliph himself.
Ah. Wait, that spares you?
Yep.
That's like...
Can't go to hell if you're the caliph.
Wait a minute. That's not... That... What?
Sarah. Sarah, this is part of a whole debate that will be very important in like 10 episodes.
I feel like that's not, like...
Yeah, again, the argument is, can you do anything if you're the caliph because God chose you? So honestly, what is everyone else going to do?
Is the whole...
Oppose God's will?
Yeah, it's the whole God chose this person to rule sort of thing that we've been doing for forever. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And, what are you going to do? Contradict God? I don't think so.
Who talked to God recently? Like,
I mean, Muhammad talked to God recently. Well, we all know him. Everybody's basically met him.
Yeah. I am... Anyway. This is fine.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
Yeah. So Muawiyah ended up granting this to Yazid and rejoiced in his clever son. But also, speaking of knowing Muhammad, Serial, Yazid is important because among all the people we've covered so far, he's the first one to not personally know the Prophet.
Yeah.
Because he was born after he died. So he's part of the first generation of Muslims who were, born Muslim, who were, educated Muslim.
Yeah.
Because everybody previously had to convert some way along their life. But Yazid has always had this be a reality. He lives in a world where Islam controls a large majority of the known world.
True. I am even more interested in the sense of he is the first caliph to not know Muhammad personally. To me, that feels like such an impact to like be around people who do still have memories of this person.
Mm-hmm.
You never met them. And then how that's going to keep changing in the future until the person people told you about will become more legend than man, right?
Yeah, it is an interesting cultural shift, or, emotional and cultural shift for the fact that Muhammad becomes the guy we all knew and fought with in our youth, to being, oh yes, he is the prophet, capital T, capital P, and nobody really knows him. We just know the Quran and his sayings that have been passed down orally. But that's as far as we go. So it is quite interesting, yeah. And that also means that it'll be quite interesting when we have people who are related to the Prophet.
Yeah.
Who are around, his descendants are around, so how does their legacy connect to the legacy of the Prophet, now that nobody is around anymore who knew him personally?
Quite.
But yeah, so Yazid himself was at best in his late teens when his father became caliph, so he probably wasn't very involved in the first fitna, but he later became a loyal lieutenant of his father in the later expeditions. So he's not involved in the whole defeating and fighting Ali thing, but he is just along for the ride, essentially, and just following his father, learning how to rule, all these things.
Makes sense.
One example in which he worked for his father and got some experience was commanding the attack on Constantinople in 674. Although whether that was a full-on siege or just an extensive blockade is debated. But what you should remember is that he was there leading a man called Abdallah ibn al-Zubayr, who will be very important to the rest of the story.
Okay.
So remember him,
Abdallah
ibn al-Zubayr. Yeah, him. The son of one of these great companions of the Prophet who had been promised paradise and all that. So he is essentially Yazid's twin in a way, because Yazid is descended from the old family who made him the heir, while Abdallah is descended from the people on the sidelines who followed the Prophet at the start when things were difficult.
Yeah.
But in any case, for this expedition to Constantinople, Arabic sources don't like to talk much about it, perhaps because it was a defeat, but also because they don't tend to like Yazid very much, so they don't want to say, oh, Yazid did a great job in this expedition. He was really cool.
They were like, he was there, I guess.
They're just like, yeah, he was, yeah, I suppose. For example, the 10th century historian Abu al-Faraj al-Isfahani tells us that before the expedition, Yazid had composed this poem after hearing of the hardship of the army in Chalcedon. When I lie on carpets drinking a morning draught in Dair Muran with Kulthum, what do I care about troops suffering from fever and smallpox at Chalcedon?
Oh no.
And yeah, apparently in reaction to this, Muawiyah sent his son with supplies to reinforce those suffering soldiers.
Yeah.
Good.
What do you care? Well, you're gonna care.
Well, you're gonna care. I'm gonna make you care. Yes.
You're about
to
care.
Took me a lot of work to become caliph.
Yeah.
However, this expedition must have gone well enough, since Yazid was declared heir to the caliphate when he came back from this expedition.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you have to teach this lesson to your son, and he is still, like, your favorite son to take the throne, I'm like, he better shape up.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, who knows? But also, some Christian sources say that the army turned back to the caliphate only after the Romans had agreed to pay a massive tribute. So maybe Yazid thought, I mean, yes, we could try and conquer Constantinople. That sounds like a lot of work, though, and my father's getting on in years. Let's just consolidate the caliphate, and then we can come back another time and just gather a ridiculous amount of money.
Which, you know, not a bad decision.
Yeah, exactly. Could be useful. But yeah, as you will have seen before, from the poem at least, it looks like in his private life, Yazid wasn't an extremely religious man.
Yeah, no.
Which might be an issue for a caliph. Because he was especially fond of wine, which you should not drink.
Yep.
In general, as a Muslim, if you're especially pious. And Yazid was told by his father, the caliph, to keep this out of the public eye and have drinking parties only in the dark of night when nobody could see him.
If you're gonna do
this
it,
is reflecting poorly.
Yeah, you have to maintain your image. I mean, that makes sense because his father was, we agreed, sort of similar. Of like, he converted when it was beneficial for him to convert. And he always put the political duties before the religious duties.
Yeah.
Not that he did badly in that, just like, you know, it was very clear that to him, the religious part of being a caliph was like a secondary thing. So it would make sense that his son has not been taught differently. Even though, I wouldn't have been surprised if it was exactly the opposite. If, like, he'd been like, okay, I made these choices, but now to better conform and to give my son a better chance, then he should actually. Except when religion tells rich people that they should give away their riches and be empathetic towards everybody and value everyone's lives equally, where, like, then it makes sense that the previous king is like, you know, that's for the other people to learn, not for us, though.
Yeah. I mean, you can also see it this way as Muawiyah saying, I did it this way and it worked out for me. Look at what happened to Ali. Look at what happened to Uthman. They tried to follow the religion properly and they ended up murdered.
That is sure a way to frame it.
Died a natural death, so why not? You know, why not teach a son that?
Yeah.
But despite enjoying drinking and partying, it looks like Yazid also liked the military life. And he led the yearly raids into Roman Anatolia, which had been going on every year, every 6 months, which were just essentially target practice for the armies of the Caliphate, without really expecting to invade, but just, raiding, picking up some plunder, having a lovely time, It's spring, what are you going to do? Just go on a raid in Anatolia. It's lovely this time of year.
I hear.
But it's there that he was, in April of 680, that he received news of his father's sickness.
Mm-hmm.
So Muawiyah the Caliph suffered his final disease and called his son to him. But unfortunately, Yazid arrived too late and reached Damascus only when his father had already passed.
All right. I see.
But hey, there we go. He is Caliph now. Or is he, is the question.
Well, that's the issue, right?
Yeah, because Muawiyah went around shaking hands and meaningfully sending gifts to people, saying, you'll support my son when I die, right? You'll support him to become Caliph, right? But also you remember that when Muawiyah became Caliph himself, he had promised, or supposedly promised, to the sons of Ali that they could be in the running for the election as Caliph.
I think that was the kind of like the hope of... I think the hope was like, yeah, you can totally apply for the election. I'm just going to make sure there's no election. So I'm not breaking my promise. Exactly. It's just, you can apply for the election when it happens. Bit of a mess. Which is not now.
Yeah, one day. Because there is precedent for a caliph choosing a successor. So Abu Bakr chose Umar as his successor. Fine. However, there is no precedent for a caliph choosing his own son for the position.
Yeah.
So the fact that everybody's still trying to understand, is this caliphate a mainly religious institution or a mainly political institution? Because so far, a majority of caliphs have been religious choices. And Muawiyah is the only caliph that has been a political choice, let's say. So what are we doing? Is this legitimate?
Yep.
And again, the fact that Yazid himself wasn't an especially religious man, but more dedicated to earthly pleasures, made the discrepancy all the more stark. Because, okay, so what are we doing? Why does he deserve to be caliph instead of everyone else? Well, following Muawiyah's death, there was an immediate opposition to the succession, directed by two main opponents who refused to give their allegiance to Yazid.
Yeah.
So two people, they're not exactly saying that they're caliph, but they're saying, I'm not giving my support to Yazid until I get more guarantees. So first of these was Hussein, the second son of Ali and the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, and I remember that his brother was murdered.
Pretty important guy.
Died in mysterious circumstances.
His brother was supposedly murdered, yes, depending on the opinions. And his brother was made caliph by Ali. So, that's a pretty strong position of legitimacy to have. Yeah. If we're saying that the son of a caliph can be caliph because he was, well, Hussein was the son of a caliph and the son of a very pious caliph. And he's also the grandson of the Prophet. So if we're doing dynastic succession, he should probably be pretty high up the list.
Yeah. This was so clearly a murder. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
No.
The
Shias would agree with you.
I mean, if I were someone who is reclaiming political power and that already has an idea of, I want this to go back to being a hereditary thing because I want it to stay in my family. Like, I don't want just power for myself, but for my entire family after I die. And I know that it's going to be like, well, I will set a precedent of a caliph choosing their son. Who am I going to get rid of? The son of other caliphs who haven't ruled yet.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah. There is a clear logic to the plan there, isn't there?
Yeah, but we're also following this particular story, right? Like, I guess if you tell it differently, it will look different.
And then the second possible candidate is Abdallah ibn al-Zubayr, who I mentioned previously.
Right.
He was the son of a close companion of the Prophet, who had led the Muslim army against Muawiyah's father when he was still pagan. So that's an interesting collaboration.
Oof, yeah.
But also, it's interesting that al-Zubayr, the father of this Abdallah, died fighting Ali during the first fitna. So he was part of the first end of the civil war, where he died fighting Ali. So there's these split areas, but they both sort of agree that they have a clear claim to the caliphate and that they are more legitimate than Yazid, and they should at least call a council to vote for who's going to be caliph. None of this automatic succession.
Yeah.
But, Serial, we remember that Muawiyah was crafty. Muawiyah was a wise man who knew how to play politics. So he predicted this, and in his will, he told Yazid that he should take care to satisfy the inhabitants of Hijaz, the region containing Mecca and Medina, but most of all Syria to save his power. And then he should watch out for Hussein bin Ali, but that he would probably be brought low by the same thing that killed his father. While for Ibn al-Zubayr, he would be a formidable enemy, and Yazid should hold strong against him unless he asks for peace, in which case he should take it to save bloodshed.
Interesting.
So, dangerous situation overall.
Yeah.
But, as I mentioned before, these two refuse to give their allegiance to Yazid, but they don't start an open rebellion. They just bide their time and try to see, what does everyone else think about Yazid's legitimacy? Does everyone else agree, or is somebody willing to help them out to start
they're
this
clearly like,
civil
well,
war?
I still think we should vote. And they're just looking around the room.
Yeah, if somebody's like, yeah, we should vote, then they'll be like, hell yeah, we should probably depose the caliph. If everybody instead says, no, we love Yazid, he's great, then, oh, damn. Bad times.
Then. Yeah.
But in any case, Yazid wanted to make sure he had firm control of the Hejaz region, so he sent over a new governor. But there was a bad omen during his inauguration.
Ooh.
Because when Yazid went out of the palace to proclaim that he is now caliph and he was now leading the Muslim community, he got a nosebleed, which was seen as an omen of bloodshed to come.
Not the ominous nosebleed.
Yes, don't get an ominous nosebleed, it's bad luck. But yeah, ultimately, the opponents of Yazid gathered some support. So the first to rebel was Hussein, the son of Ali. 4 months into Yazid's reign, he rebelled in Kufa, where the last supporters of his father had been. Although not everybody decided to support Hussein. It wasn't like a full support of him. It wasn't a full support of his rebellion. In particular, one older general answered a request to join him with, and I quote, "We have experienced the family of Ali, and among them we have not found neither the sense of government, nor intelligence and finances, nor knowledge of war."
Woof. That's rough.
So yeah, that is harsh criticism of your family.
It's like, well, we've supported you before, and we did not like what you did, so...
Yeah, we saw how it ended with your dad and your brother. This doesn't seem like a good bet.
Wow.
Also, on the other hand, many of Hussein's supporters told him not to trust the Iraqis because they had abandoned and either killed or wounded Ali and his older brother Hassan. So saying, look what happened to your family in Iraq. Clearly they're not to be trusted. Find support somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Hussein did not pay this heed. He went all the way to Iraq, where he tried to gain more support, take over some cities, and from there, go over and take over the caliphate.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately for him, he didn't gain as much support as he had hoped for, and was actually trapped by Yazid's loyalist governor of the region. Some sources say that at this point Hussein had lost all hope in his cause and was ready to surrender to Yazid, but he would not get this opportunity.
Oh.
Because Hussein said that he would only surrender personally to the caliph, but the governor feared that he would be seen as weak if he did this and would be replaced. So he didn't allow for the surrender. That's one option.
Mm-hmm.
But alternatively, Hussein did not trust the governor to keep his word, so he refused the offer of being taken to Yazid and said, no, I know how this is going to end. I want to see the caliph personally. I want him to see me because I know I can trust him, but otherwise things will go sideways.
Mm-hmm.
So things degenerated. The negotiations stalled.
Things did go sideways.
Yes, and at a town called Karbala, Hussein was faced by the governor who managed to defeat him in October of 680. Although it's kind of generous to call it a battle since Hussein had about 100 men while the Umayyad forces had a few thousand.
Yeah.
So it's not a fair fight going on. It's a very sad story for Hussein himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before this battle, Yazid had ordered his governor to kill any rebels that took up arms, but that Hussein himself should be unharmed. He is the grandson of the Prophet. He is the son of Ali.
You don't want to do that.
He
Yeah,
needs
sure.
to remain alive. This is not blood we want to shed.
Well, they always say that, but
Yeah. However, and again, this might be an Antiochus III case of, oh no, my advisor did it. I didn't know anything about it, sort of thing. But the governor decided that, against his orders, as the leader of the rebellion, Hussein should be killed. And so, when the battle was over, Hussein himself was executed by the governor, or died in battle, depending on the versions.
Yeah, very convenient that they can blame someone else for the execution.
Yeah. As you can imagine, the fact that he was a grandson of the Prophet had actually known him. Unlike Yazid, Hussein had known the Prophet. He was his grandson, and the Prophet
not
loved
only
him,
did
cared for him.
not only did he know him, he has his blood, he is related to him.
Yeah, so this had terrible signs on Yazid, and this is why the sources really don't like Yazid, because he's shed the blood of the Prophet. That's not something you should do.
No.
According to certain sources, though, it looks like Yazid himself was distraught at the death of Hussein. He cried profusely at the news of his death and scolded the delegation that brought his head to Damascus as a prize.
This keeps happening.
Yazid wept and cursed his general, saying that he wanted to pardon Hussein and he would have given one of his own sons up if that would have saved Hussein. The head was then treated with honor and buried in a scene that reminds me very much of Caesar and Pompey, which
I was gonna say, it just keeps happening.
Parallelism, yeah. While Hussein's son, called Ali, was sent in peace to Medina, where he lived out the rest of his life. So, bad times. However, despite this tragedy, Yazid had to continue governing the caliphate despite all the instability. Perhaps because of this, he tried not to move very far from his father's positions. He appointed loyal men to important governorships and flattered them with gifts and praise to make sure they remained faithful. But unfortunately, Yazid wasn't as good as his father in this task, because many were wary of him, they didn't trust him. He's killed the grandson of the Prophet, don't you know?
Yeah, that's bad publicity. Bad press.
And the discontented inhabitants of Medina began to make rumblings of rebellion. Also, they've only recently been taken away from the center of the caliphate, so wouldn't it be nice if they actually had power? They're the heart of the religion. Why should everything be in Damascus now?
Yeah. What did the people of Damascus ever do for us?
Exactly. Damascus is so far away. What are we doing? But on the plus side, Yazid seems to have been keen on funding irrigation projects, especially in Syria, where he tried to bring the region back to the prosperity of the previous century, before Khosrow I had removed Antioch. Yeah. Before just picking up Antioch and moving it to
I forgot.
Iraq.
That is such a sentence.
Good times. Yes. And in particular, Damascus was greatly embellished with canals that brought water throughout the city and ample fountains. But overall, it looks like a lot of people complained about the irrigation works because they wanted the benefits but not to pay for them, with the increased taxes that came from the improved yield of the fields.
Ain't that just the truth?
But what is Yazid like? So, sources don't like him very much, as we've seen. They talk about him enjoying lavish parties, drinking wine, all these sort of things. We don't see much about him.
I wonder why.
So we get mentions of his enjoyment of silks, drinking, singing girls, sexual freedom, hunting, and playing with his pet monkey, which would often join him for meals.
Sure?
Yeah. Al-Masudi goes so far as to say that it was Yazid who first introduced music to Medina and Mecca. That's clearly absurd. And hey, what's so wrong with music, my guy?
Yeah.
It's nice. Also, while hunting was a normal activity in pre-Islamic Arabia, Islam disapproved of this showy type of hunt that might be practiced by a Sassanid king with exotic animals and elaborate displays.
Yeah.
So Yazid is more taking the role of a king, not just a warlord who was out for a hunt. Yazid was also said to have been fond of cockfighting, despite that being made illegal by Uthman, supposedly because his son had been killed by a rooster that had been trained for the purpose.
Why? Sure.
Weird.
Normal things.
Finally, Yazid is accused of having introduced eunuchs to the caliphal court, but there is little real evidence for this. and probably was just a thing that was happening because the Romans had eunuchs, the
Eunuchs
Sassanids had
been around
eunuchs.
for forever.
It's a thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All these accusations get so bad that in certain historical texts, Yazid isn't called commander of the faithful like his father, but rather commander of the unfaithful.
Yeah, I can see why. He kind of earned that one.
However, there is a Roman chronicle that speaks of him positively, saying, and I quote, that he was a most pleasant man and considered to be the most gracious in the eyes of all the nations subjected to his rule. Which might suggest that he was actually doing a reasonably good job, but his political rivals appealed to religion as a means to discredit him.
Yeah.
Who knows? He was also accused of being too friendly to the Christians, which, together with the fact that his mother's tribe had long been Christian and Muawiyah had converted relatively late, led to suspicions of impiety in view of his general behavior. So, he's not a very religious man himself. Also, his mom was a Christian. Also, his dad converted at the last possible moment. Is he really the guy meant to lead the Muslim faith? We don't know.
That's the issue. The fact that they are not dividing at all religion and government causes this, where it's like, well, then you do kind of have to choose someone who is extremely religious to be the leader of the religion, don't you? But they also have to know how to rule.
Yeah, and it's difficult to find all these skill combined together. You want to make sure that you are all these together. And so far, we haven't found somebody who was super pious, but also reigned for 20 years in glory. We've not found that balance yet, which is a problem.
Yeah, it turns out that to be any sort of ruler and to have that ambition, it makes you not a good person. It's really hard to be religiously virtuous while ruling.
Yeah.
Tends to not attract the most virtuous people.
No, definitely not. But okay, Sarah. So unfortunately, Hussein has been killed. That's happened. But we had a second potential rebel, potential claimant to the caliphate.
Yeah.
And he's still around.
Yeah. Tell me about him.
He's Abdallah ibn al-Zubayr.
Yeah.
And, well, seeing how things are going with Yazid, he starts up a rebellion in Medina and Mecca, which Yazid now has to put down. Ibn al-Zubayr stated that there should be a new council like the one that had chosen Uthman, and they should choose the caliph. He had been demanding change for a couple of years now, but by 683, things had gotten so out of hand that the Umayyad forces were expelled from Mecca and Medina towards Syria.
Oh, I see.
And this time, Ibn al-Zubayr is saying, hey, I have the holy cities. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're clearly an impious man. I'm not saying I should be caliph. I'm saying we should vote for who should be caliph.
Yeah. I'm
I
saying
think I have
you
a
are
good chance
not
of winning,
legitimate.
but still, yeah, exactly.
It's the principle. Trust me, it's not that I want to. I mean, I also want to apply, but that's not the point.
But still. So Yazid was formally deposed as caliph in Medina in a ceremony where a sandal was removed to show that he had been deprived of sovereignty as the foot had been deprived of its shoe.
Huh. So it actually happened.
Yeah. So Yazid first sent an army to try and take control of Medina because, oh no, he's not about to just give up the caliphate like this.
Sure.
Medina fell quickly. It was captured and sacked for 3 days. Although, again, for all these things, we should remember that we get this news from hostile sources.
Yep.
So
They're not going to be like, oh, and they treated everyone very nicely, actually, and were very civilized.
Yeah. The survivors were then made to swear their loyalty and submission to Yazid, and to be done with them as he saw fit. Yazid's army then moves on to Mecca itself and bombarded the city with catapults. That's not great, since it's the holiest city in Islam.
Yeah. I feel like you should care. Like, the fact that you do that sort of should disqualify you, huh?
Yeah. The siege was so violent that the Kaaba, one of the holiest sites in Islam, was set on fire.
What? Yeah, that's not looking great.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was mainly made of wood and cloth at the time. Now it's made of stone with decorative black cloth.
Yeah, a bit more resistant.
Wood, so it was set on fire, and that was terrible.
Yeah.
Although it's unclear who was exactly responsible, in the chaos of battle. One option has it that the besiegers accidentally hit it when aiming for a hospital.
Which is not better.
Great time, We were trying to commit a different war crime, I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind.
But another source, Al-Tabari in particular, says that it was careless Zubayrid soldiers who lost control of a fire, and in the chaos running around, a lantern was dropped and it set fire to it. Who knows?
The fact that you're attacking the city at all is the problem. This is just one of the consequences, but like...
Yeah, regardless of who did this, it's not a good sign. It's
Nope.
terrible. Again, the first fitna started with Muawiyah, or Ali, let's say. Whose fault it is difficult to ascertain. But anyway, the first fitna started with that, and that was the first time Muslims killed Muslims.
Yeah.
This time, the second fitna, the second crisis division, is now quite bad because we're attacking Mecca itself. Like, the first one was mostly in Iraq, but here, this is at the heart of the faith, really. But during the siege of Mecca, there came a letter to the general besieging the city.
Oh.
Can you guess what the letter said?
King is dead, long live the king.
First part, certainly. We received a message that on the 11th of November 683, the Caliph Yazid had died.
Oh, we have the actual date and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
During the attack on the Kaaba.
Yeah.
It's often tied to some of his moral failings. So either he fell on horseback during a hunt, he had an excess of alcohol, or had some sort of heart attack.
Like, oh, that's the thing that did him in. Yeah.
There is also a Shiite version that has it be a divine punishment for the ravaging of Mecca and Medina, where Yazid was trying to light a torch and his finger caught fire. Then trying to blow it out, the flame jumped into his mouth and burned his body from the inside out.
I don't know if that's how, but yeah, sure.
Apparently this was following a prophecy of Muhammad, where he had said that the man audacious enough to threaten Medina, God will melt him like salt in water.
I see, yeah. I can't believe that the threatening of Medina happened, like, immediately, in historical terms.
It has, yes, it is very fast.
Like a couple of generations removed.
It's basically one generation removed, really. It's not even that. How long has it been since the Prophet has died? It is 50 years since the Prophet's died. It's recent. This is the year 60-ish of the Muslim calendar. So, it's early. But now, Cyril, the question is, who's in charge now?
Yeah, we have the same problem again.
Yes. Except the thing is that Yazid has sort of appointed his son Muawiyah II as heir, but Muawiyah II is just a teenager. And has been entirely unprepared for this, and has not been presented to public life, and nobody knows who he is, and who is this kid even, who does he claim to be?
Yeah.
While on the other side, you have Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr, who has been bravely defending Mecca from the guy who killed the grandson of the Prophet.
And who already was, like, putting forward, right? Like, being like, hey, let's vote, and also I would like to participate.
Yeah, also, he's religiously important. He's not from the old nobility. He is from the people who supported the Prophet because they believed in him. That's pretty strong, legitimacy-wise, so we'll see what happens. And yeah, the elective principle is still strong. Like, the only person who was made caliph because he was the son of another caliph is Yazid at this point. That is the only precedent. So there's still a strong argument to be said that we should just vote.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, like, this didn't even, like, while they were trying to legitimize sort of the fact that you can nominate your own descendants, this happened. Like, there was a war.
Yeah,
Medina was attacked. Well. And nothing was resolved because then the guy died. So, like, it hasn't really been,
No. So, Serial, what we are going to do for our next episode is we are going to follow Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr as the legitimate caliph.
Okay. Why are you telling me like that?
Hot take. Because the thing is that we could follow the other Umayyads, so Muawiyah II, but he mainly just controls Syria.
I see.
And even then, he is having trouble. And he's a teenager with no legitimacy. Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr has the most legitimacy in the caliphate. Yeah. So he is the one who is technically in control of Persia. So he's the one ruling Persia.
Yeah.
So we'll be covering him next time, and we'll see how well he does.
I see.
Do you have any guesses, Serial? Do you think that
Man.
we'll have a new glorious Umayyad Caliphate breaking down the Umayyads? Or do you think the Umayyads are coming back? Or do you think a new third party is coming back?
I really want
the
a period
heirs of Ali
like,
are going to be back.
I really want a period of chill. I always want a
Don't
period
we all,
of chill.
Serial?
Yeah.
Don't we all? Any quick guesses on is Ibn al-Zubayr going to make it or not?
Oh, it would be so nice if he did. Mostly because he seems like well prepared. And from a religious standpoint, like a good decision. A good choice, you know.
Yeah. We'll find out, I guess. Also, Yazid himself was then buried in Damascus.
Mm-hmm.
And sources were not kind to him, and that extends to his tomb and his legacy.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Because according to a 100-year-old source I read, I don't know if this is still accurate. If you live in Damascus or have ever lived in Damascus, please tell me, I'm curious. It was customary to throw rocks at Yazid's tomb in Damascus whenever you're passing by. So anytime you're passing by the street, just throw rocks at his tomb.
Wow. That is so rude.
That's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
That 1,500 years later, people are just still throwing rocks at
That
his
is
tomb
one of the
because he's such a
harsher
terrible person.
traditions with... yeah.
Yeah. But hey, his tomb is around. That's neat. But yes, Serial, that is the episode on Yazid I. What did you think of him? How do you think he compares to our previous elected rulers?
Worse.
Fair.
Like, clearly, and this was the favorite of his dad. Man, if...
Yes.
I would have just been like, just vote for it. He's not worthy. But I guess nobles care about their houses. So...
Yeah, exactly. It's a very noble coded thing to do.
Yeah. Just be like, well, we have to keep the power, so, like, it has to be someone who shares my blood, otherwise, what's the point? But, like, I don't know, do, like, the Romans and, like, adopt somebody.
True, that's fair. That doesn't happen very often, that I'm aware of. It might happen in the future, but as far as I've researched, just adopting random people because they're the most capable isn't really a thing.
I still find that so funny and fascinating from the Roman Empire. That they're like, yeah, this is definitely a family thing. However, nobody's related by blood. Ever. We're just, you know.
I mean, you know, the 5 good emperors, just a bunch of people adopting each other, being like, no, he is totally my son.
Yeah.
Don't look at the fact that we have no blood relations, but it's okay. But hey, you know, that's a good way to go about it. You might as well adopt people.
Yeah. Yeah, I found the most interesting, because I didn't expect him to be extremely successful, unless, you know, I've been proven wrong before, but, like, yeah, it all depended on, like, whether people believed the succession or not, or, like, accepted it or not. I found really interesting the fact that they never get to solve the issue. Like, they are in the middle of fighting to either take over or consolidate the decision. And it goes terribly wrong. Even if he had won this war, he would have still been responsible for burning, like, attacking Medina and burning it. Like, it just this whole thing. And, like, nothing gets resolved. They're still in the middle of the debate, and then he's dead, and it's like, well, okay, then next, I guess, and now we have the same problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's what most of this second civil war, the second fitna, is going to be about. It's going to be deciding, you know, do the Umayyads get to keep their method of succession? Or do the Zubayrids get to keep their method of succession? Which is, you know, elective. Or, we should not forget that the Kharijites are still around. These people who thought that, you know, you should only follow the Quran, that's it. Everybody who doesn't do this is a false Muslim and they should be expelled from the community. We are the only true Muslims that exist.
That's rough.
Yeah, tough times. But we'll find out next time how Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr does. Okay, Sarah, are you ready to rate him?
I guess. Yeah, let's do it.
Our first category is final moments. How interesting was his death? We have a bunch of options. Some of them are thematic, which is falling off his horse during a hunt, drinking too much, heart attack, less thematic, or divine punishment by having a flame devour him from the inside out.
That's really hardcore.
That is pretty hardcore. I like the horrible divine judgment.
I doubt that happened,
metal.
but cool.
What is the one you find more likely then? Heart attack, falling off horse, or drinking to yourself
Probably
to death?
heart attack.
Fair
I don't
enough.
know. I mean, it could have been any of them. I know that those are like more regarding like his usual hobbies that people didn't approve of, and like that's why
Yeah.
it also gets brought up. But like, yeah, it could have happened. He could have fallen off his horse. Like, I don't.
I mean, hunting accidents are so common. It
Yeah.
happens all the time. And also, it could have been a quote-unquote hunting accident.
Yeah.
You never know. Nobody suggests that. Nobody at all suggests that this is murder. But still,
Really?
you never know. No, yeah. It's
I
either
guess
divine judgment or just his own fault.
murdered by God.
Yeah. So how are you thinking this? I feel like I enjoy the divine punishment. That's good.
Sure. It's a good
Always love a
story.
good. It's very much Indiana Jones, Ark of the Covenant vibe.
Yes.
So I would say it's not a very personal death. It's not, being killed by his best friend or anything. But I would say I'm starting with a 5-ish. I could be moving back and forth. I'm going to look at something similar. Because we gave Ali a 6.
Yeah, it's a
Just as an
weird,
example.
interesting death, I guess. In that, there's different versions of it, and like people definitely feel a type of way about it.
Yeah.
I guess just for the involvement of God and the different like reasons why it might have happened, I'll give it, maybe a 5. I was gonna go for a 6, but I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I might go for a 6 because I like the gods intervening directly. That's fun.
Sure.
So I think I'll go for a 6. You sticking with a 5?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So with a 6 and a 5, he gets a 5.5 out of 10 for final moments. Our next category is battle hardness. How good was he at war and fighting? Well, we have that as a young man, he was in charge of the expedition against Constantinople.
Yeah.
Which again, I think it's very fun that he was in command of Abdallah ibn al-Zubayr here.
Yeah.
It was nice that they have this beef. So he was in charge of that expedition. He didn't conquer Constantinople, but we're not sure if that was the goal.
Yeah.
Depending on the sources, it's either a blockade to extort money from the Romans, and in that case, he succeeded, got a bunch of money from the Romans and went home.
Yeah.
Or if the plan was conquer Constantinople, he achieved a lesser victory by just having the Romans give him some money to go home.
Yeah, but it didn't go like terribly.
It didn't go terribly. No, exactly.
There weren't bad
It was going
consequences.
reasonably well.
Like either way.
No, exactly. It was successful. Then afterwards, we have him essentially winning the Battle of Karbala against Hussein. But as we saw, is that really a glorious battle? It was thousands of men against a few hundred.
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't think that was really a battle.
Yeah, it's not something I'd give him many points for. And then finally, he does, when the Civil War starts properly, he does conquer Medina rather quickly. And he is besieging Mecca. Doesn't manage to take it straight away, but he is besieging it enough.
He's besieging it enough.
Yes,
Sure.
he's besieging it enough to be damaging. That's not massively impressive.
No, it's pretty bad, actually.
Like, again, he's not losing or anything, but
no, just the decision
not.
is wild.
Congratulations, yeah.
Like, you're trying to become the ruler of a religion, and you go to that religion's, like, most holy place, and you're like, attack here.
If you're going to attack something, and you know that it's important, then just, attack around it, or just, be more careful.
Like, I get that it's like, oh, this is the important place, so let me attack here. But also, this is not an enemy religion that you're trying to conquer. This is like the one that you're supposedly also trying to uphold. So,
yeah, this is your
don't
holiest
do that.
site. What are you doing?
Yeah, this should be important
it's
to
a
you.
bad time. Yeah. So you can see why people throw rocks at his grave.
Yeah. Decisions were made. Bad ones at that.
I feel like battle hardness, I'm feeling a 3.
Yeah, like it's fine. The battles
the
that he did.
Constantinople thing is pretty good, I guess. He tried. I forgot to mention this, but he led some raids into Anatolia during his father's reign. Again, these aren't difficult raids. It's just go and have target practice with the Romans. But,
yeah,
he is going personally, I suppose. That's worth something. But that still doesn't move me from a 3. I feel like that's as good as he's going to get. All right, so you're sticking with a 3 as well?
Yeah.
So with a 3 and a 3, he gets a 6 out of 20 for battle hardness. Our next category is scheminess. How good was he at plots and manipulations? We don't hear of much, really. Under his father, he manages to sort of become caliph because of... We had the anecdote of him as a child requesting to be saved from hell by becoming the caliph. Does that still count in this context? People disagree.
Yeah.
So that's vaguely schemy, if at all. Then when he is caliph, the one thing you could say that's schemy is how much do you reckon he was involved in the killing of Hussein?
Yeah.
Because was it genuinely, oh my god, what have I done? This is terrible. I told you explicitly not to kill him.
Yeah.
This is a disaster.
Or was it like, no, do the thing.
Or was it more...
And then I need to look innocent.
Yeah. Does he strike you as an actively malicious man? Or just
honestly,
a man who doesn't have very good control of his generals?
Now that you put it that way, it could be both.
See, during my research, I was more sympathetic to him than I am now.
Ooh, interesting.
But during my research, I saw him as somebody who had reasonably good intentions, but was just not very good at his job.
How come?
He mostly strikes me as, like, he's not having people murdered. He's not just arresting them and having them killed. Maybe that was incompetence again. But he strikes me as somebody who was raised to be a prince, didn't expect things to be this difficult, and now that he's scrambling, he's just failed to do this. I get the feeling that he didn't mean to kill Hussein. He was actually genuinely distraught. But that he just simply didn't express himself well enough to his general, or just did a bad job emphasizing how important this was.
Yeah.
And then Mecca, he probably just didn't think about it and was like, oh wait, no, oh god, don't attack the holy sites. I should have mentioned this. I thought it was obvious. So, I don't know. He doesn't strike me as very schemy. I think I'll give him like 1 point for the suspicion of it. But he doesn't strike me as... I don't think he was clever enough to be that schemy, is the thing. I think his father, if his father had done this, absolutely,
yes,
no, 100% did it. But him, he feels like...
incompetent.
He just doesn't have it in him, yeah.
I see.
So I'm going to go with a 1. How are you feeling?
I don't think I share your opinion, but this might also be the propaganda or the
if
story,
you believe he did it,
you know.
fully in your hand, yeah.
I mean, this is not a strong opinion that I hold, because obviously this is just vibes of me hearing about this for the first time, right?
You learned of it an hour ago, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But according to what we've been talking about, I'm like, oh, he must have. But it's such a delusional, silly decision, too. To like go about it this way.
A bad decision.
It's not even like self-serving. It's purely just like, oh, that was bad. I don't know how you thought that this would help.
Yeah. Yeah. How high would you rate that? What do you think is?
I don't think he was particularly
in that case,
schemy.
How high would you rate planning the murder and trying to hide the murder of the grandson of the prophet?
I mean, he didn't hide it that well, did he?
Yeah.
People were still like, yeah, you did that.
I mean, he tried to hide it so it was his general, but fine, yeah.
I don't know if people bought it. Didn't seem like they did.
Not especially.
Yeah. Nah, I'll go with like a 1 for the attempt.
Oh, just a 1.
Maybe a 2 for the vibes.
So I think he
one
didn't
for
do it.
Yeah,
okay,
1 for the attempt, 2 for the vibes of, you know.
Okay, sounds good. I'll get that.
He's more shocking than schemy, you know.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So with a 1 and a 2, he gets a 3 out of 20 for scheminess. Our next category is shock factor. How shocking was this man?
Very.
Several reasons.
Choices were made.
Well, he's the first to succeed dynastically as caliph. That's pretty shocking. First time, we're overthrowing the old system. You can argue how much this is his father's shocking versus his. We can see. He then, either voluntarily or accidentally, has the grandson of the prophet killed.
Yeah.
Bad times.
That's wild.
Difficult times. Not very good. He then also sacks Medina and bombards Mecca, sets the Kaaba on fire. Horrible times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's To say nothing of his own personal desires, where he is just living a life of luxury, enjoying wine, enjoying sex, just having a great time all around. He has a pet monkey he really likes.
Yeah.
That's unusual. He also just isn't a very pious man to be caliph.
Nope.
Like, it doesn't look
Wild
like he
choice,
cares
yeah.
much.
Wild choice, especially also from him to not like change his ways once he's been named Caliph at least and be like, let me pretend. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he could also just have done that.
I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't expect him to
Like,
become
his
a pious
father
man, but like,
tried,
yeah,
essentially.
exactly. Like, at least pretend.
Yeah, his father got buried with a bunch of, relics of the prophet to show how pious he actually was. Even though in private, he did enjoy luxuries. He did enjoy great food and wine and women. But he didn't show it publicly, you know?
I miss when politics involved a certain level of lying that in a way felt more respectful than straight up not lying.
Yeah, and also the podcast.
And also in here.
Anyway. So yeah, this is pretty shocking, I would say. Again, it's not, Mad King going and doing horrible things for the sake of it.
No, but
it
some
is enough
decisions
that
were
people
made that
throw
I'm like,
rocks
what
at
the
him
hell?
For thousands of years. Yeah. So I'm pretty high up. I don't know how high to go. I think my baseline, which I could be talked up or down from, is like an 8, like his father. Because the things he does are so shocking. They're so impious that...
Yeah, what
are you thinking?
I agree. I'm still trying to process some decisions that were made.
It is decisions indeed. So I think, I don't know. Because again, 8, we gave it to Muawiyah, his father. You gave it to Ali, actually. I gave a 7 to Ali instead. As for higher scores, let me look around. Well, we gave a 10 to Alexander the Great, for example.
I mean, yeah, but like...
We give a 9 to Cambyses II for the cats and the marrying his sister and the killing his brother and the whole thing.
That was early in the podcast.
We gave a 7 to Darius the Great, for example.
Yeah, very shocking.
That's an option.
I think I'll go for a 7.
Go for a 7? You think it's slightly lower down than his father?
His father just did more things,
Yeah.
It's not that it's less, it's just that he didn't do as much. But every decision was wild.
Yeah, I think knowing that you're giving him a 7, I'll go for an 8. Because I think that he deserves that little extra push.
Sure.
So with an 8 and a 7, he gets a 15 out of 20 for shock factor. Our next category is Aaron Shine. How good was he for the Empire in general and Iran in particular?
How good was he?
Let's look at Iran specifically. Iran specifically, it was fine. Nothing changed significantly.
Yeah, because he didn't really get around too much.
He basically kept his father's appointments and kept things chugging along.
Yeah. Busy trying to legitimize his own,
Yeah. As for the Caliphate, he failed to legitimize his position.
Yeah.
He simply failed.
Yeah.
His father left him a nice stable caliphate, and now it's all on fire in a massive civil war, and his dynasty might be off the throne. He has left a teenage son with no preparation in charge, and most of the caliphate in the hands of Ibn al-Zubayr. Which, again, might be good in the long term, but not good for him.
Yeah, no. Or for his, dynasty or whatever.
Yeah. He's then also broadly messed things up in government. He is just... he's tried to appoint people like his father did. He's tried to have this system of semi-independent governors, but none of them like him or trust him.
Yeah.
So that's not very good. On the plus side, he has some good irrigation projects. Those have gone reasonably
Yay, the
well.
irrigation.
And the Christians think he's doing a reasonably good job. The Christians like him.
Sure, because he's not
fine.
very, mean to them or anything. That was the whole
exactly.
debate.
But ultimately, I think that the caliphate is definitely worse off.
Yeah, it feels less
being in
legitimate
charge.
because they just keep arguing and how does it actually work, and it doesn't feel strong if you have constant inner turmoil. And he's not helping with that.
And he's also sort of making the figure of the caliph a lot more negative.
Yeah.
All the previous caliphs were at least respected.
Yep.
They could have done better or worse things, but they were all respected and trusted.
Yeah, and he just appeared there, was not voted in, and kind of made a fool out of
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, he's just not very good. I'm between a 2 and a 3.
Yeah, that sounds correct to me. I'll go with, I guess a 3, because at 2, I feel like things must have gone worse in the Empire. But like, since he kind of kept things, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
can be salvageable
Mm.
still.
I think, again, I'm going to counteract you. If you're
Yeah.
going with a 3, I'll go with a 2,
Okay.
because the loss of legitimacy is so
Yeah.
serious that it's just
That's
a
fair.
terrible
That's fair.
time. Okay, so with a 2 and a 3, he gets a 5 out of 20 for Aaron Shine. Our next category is Face of Faces. What do you think this man looked like? And I have a description of him.
Hooray!
I will warn you, we don't have them for all of these people. They're
Yeah,
just
I'm
at
sure.
the beginning, so they're important. So the description is, he had a dark complexion, very dark eyes, frizzy hair, a strong build, and powerfully limbed. He was overall seen as handsome despite some smallpox scarring. He was apparently said to have inherited his father's size, because we'll remember, Muawiyah was a big guy. Seems like Yazid inherited this. So off we go, Serial, with your drawing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Serial has finished their drawing. Let me pick it up and I'll describe it to you all. Okay, nice, very good. So
Yeah,
what
it's
we
a
have
dude,
here,
you know?
it's a dude. He's a guy. Just a guy trying his best. So what you see here is above from his shoulders a headshot of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, and you can see that yes, he does have this dark complexion. He's looking off to the side. He has this nice big bushy beard for himself, and some frazzly hair coming out from behind the turban he's wearing. I can't tell if his beard is slightly going a bit grey with age or if it's an effect of the light, but it looks nice anyway. And yeah, you can tell that he has a slightly fancier turban than he would otherwise have, so it's not nondescript, but has some decoration in it. And he's looking off to the side, trying to wonder when can he get his next glass of wine, or potentially commit an atrocity. Who knows? Whichever is the best.
That
time.
was the vibe I was going for. The wine vibe, at least, you know.
The wine is, you can feel the vibe, yeah.
Of like, he's just enjoying himself. Chilling.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Sarah. If anybody wants to see this lovely portrait, you can go to the episode notes in the description, the Discord if you're a patron, or you can go to our website in Serial's portrait gallery.
Yay.
Now let me show Ariel what he actually looked like.
Well, debatable.
And we have a coin, Serial.
Oh,
A coin.
okay.
And calligraphy. The calligraphy is very spooky.
Oh, how is calligraphy spooky?
Look at this. Is this not spooky calligraphy?
Oh, it is. I think it's because of the shine
See?
and red, you know, like the red glow really.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
That was the only bit of calligraphy I could find, and it was like massive, red and black vibes, which was pretty dark,
Yeah,
Intense.
but it's really gorgeous. Is it made in like a material that is translucent, or why is the light like?
I think this is purely digital.
I
think
see. I
this is
see.
just a digital drawing.
So just someone chose to do
Because-
it this way. It looks
somebody just
great.
thought it would be neat. It was pretty cool.
I
yeah.
love how beautiful and intricate the calligraphy looks. How you can just add all of these, so pretty.
Pretty neat. And here's what he looks like in a coin. Can you guess anything new from the coin?
He's just the same. Sassanid guy. Okay.
But, Serial, I will have you note, here in the corner of the coin,
Yeah.
there is some Arabic writing.
True.
It's slightly different.
Didn't we have that in the previous? Like there was also writing in the previous
The previous
coin.
one didn't have any writing, or maybe I'm misremembering it. But anyway,
Maybe it wasn't
this
Arabic
is the
writing,
only
I don't
way
know.
you can tell this isn't a Sassanid coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the previous one might have had
So
some
it's just
writing.
Khosrow the Second.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
Same
remember
crown.
those times? Those were
Yeah.
good.
It's just the
Yeah.
coin guy.
Absolutely identical. So yeah, Sarah, how would you rate this for Face of Faces? There's
Nah.
very little to go on.
Like 2, because we have 2 things, I guess. Maybe even less. Like
I'm
this
wondering, is
doesn't
it
tell me
even
anything
worth
about the guy.
anything? Yeah.
The calligraphy is very pretty, so I want to give at least 1 point
Mhm.
for that. But other than that, it's like this tells me nothing about him.
Yeah, there's no...
Not even like, oh, it's not contemporary. It's just purely like, even if it is,
Yeah, I
no
couldn't find
information.
any non-contemporary things. I feel
Yeah.
like... I think I'm gonna just have to give him a 0, honestly. 'cause
People
this is
don't
not
want
him.
to
It is
portray this
just
guy. Huh.
A portrait, yeah.
Well, now you have my portrait,
Yeah,
so
bad
there you
times. Yeah, exactly. There's the first portrait in history of Yazid
go.
ibn Muawiyah.
He's just...
Hooray. Good for him, I guess.
I'd much rather have portrayed him chortling and enjoying some wine, but, I do not have the time for that.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so are you sticking with a 1 or a 0?
1, I think, is fine, because I like the calligraphy.
1, okay.
And we have something, as opposed to absolutely nothing. Gotta make space for the absolutely nothing possibility.
Yeah, I'm not.
Or, I mean, this is subjective. Like, technically, this is, like, what we think about this. So, like, maybe I found something that's so horrible and ugly that I'm like, this deserves a 1.
Also true, yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, well, with a 0 and a 1, he gets a 0.3 out of 5 for Face of Faces. Our next category is lengthiness. How long do you think this man reigned?
Not long, apparently. Like 5 years?
A little bit under that, actually.
Oh!
He reigned for a grand total of 3 years between
Oof.
the year 680 and 683.
So this went fast, actually.
So things went downhill quick.
Oof.
Yes. It was a bad time.
Rest in peace. Or not,
So,
I guess.
yeah.
Rest with stones thrown at your grave.
Rest with rocks being thrown at you, yeah.
Wow.
So take 3 years divided by 10, you get a 0.3 out of 5 for lengthiness. And that brings us to the final score, which is a grand total of 35.1 out of 100, making him the worst of the new season.
I mean, we're not that far in, but yeah.
Yeah, placing him between Vologasi's the first, which was quite good, but not many sources, and
yeah.
Hormiz the first, which was fine. So he's actually doing a lot better in score than I would have expected, but it's mostly because of how shocking he was.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the final question, Sarah, which is to say, is he
No.
sacrilegious enough? Is he drunk enough? Is he rocks throwing enough to be
Rocks
a
throwing.
Shahanshah? Or is he just a Shahanna?
I'm gonna say no, but also, I mean, he is still iconic. Because everyone in this period is so relevant.
Yeah.
That it's hard to be fully like, oh, this was not interesting. Like, of course he was interesting. But, like, I don't wanna give it to him.
You know what? I'm going to say, I feel like his period is interesting. He is okay.
Yeah. He didn't even do that much. He did a couple of
Yeah, he was also there.
unbelievable things that you're like, how, why, in what world?
But again, I feel like they're less malice and more incompetence.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not very good at his job. He's just, So yeah, sorry Yazid, but you are a Shahanna. You can go off into the desert, meet Yazdegerd III, tell him that, hey, civil wars are terrible, aren't they? It's kind of a mess.
You can bond
Oh
over
well.
it.
Yeah, you can bond. Your father will be wondering why you're not here, or maybe he knows why you're not with him.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll see. So, okay, thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you enjoyed the first Shahanna of the season.
Yeah, finally.
We'll see. Will this carry on for a while, or who knows?
I was worried we'd have too many.
Yeah, is Abdallah ibn al-Zubair going to be so brilliant that he gets it as well? Is he starting a new glorious dynasty? Or is he also going to fizzle out? Who knows? You'll have to...
I love that you
have
always
to tune
do
in to
these
find
little, like, on the next episode
out.
summaries as if the people who listen to us are not as knowledgeable, or like, since they already have an interest in this, like, there's a way higher chance that they have your level of knowledge more than my level of knowledge. So for me, it's all like spoilers. I don't know what's going on. And for the people listening, it's probably like, yeah, we know. We know what's
Well,
coming.
hey, you know what? It's like in a murder mystery when you get to find out that you're right. It's like, haha, I know
Yeah.
who the murderer is.
Yeah.
You get to feel smug knowing things. It's good. And isn't that the best feeling after all?
And then you get to get my reaction and look forward to it, I guess.
But yeah, so if you would like to support the podcast, there are many ways to do so. You can join us on our Patreon. We've just released an episode on Abu Bakr. So if you want to go back to the very early days of the Caliphate, you can do that. You can figure out how the Ummah came together and how he became the first Caliph and how exactly he handled
Whatever
this
we didn't
transition.
cover back then, now we covered in the
Exactly.
extra episode.
And you have access to a bunch of old episodes where we talk about all the world around the Sassanids, the Parthians, the Achaemenids, the Seleucids, all these people. You get to find out more about
Yeah.
their general environment.
They're fun episodes.
Alternatively, we'd appreciate if you could give us a review on your podcast app of choice, where you can tell other people that we're having a new season. It's great. and you can invite more people to come and listen to us, because this is a cool period of history that not many people know about, so it's worth learning more about it and figuring out, hey, this is what was going on in the meantime while the Roman Empire was collapsing, and
at least in
Tang China was
Western
doing
education,
cool things.
this is not covered. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, then we hope you enjoy this episode and hope you tune in next time with Abdallah bin al-Zubayr. So we hope you have a lovely week, and goodbye.
Bye.
Hello everybody, this is Umberto, and I'm here to tell you about a very exciting project, which is Intelligent Speech 2026, where on the 28th of February 2026, you will be able to join a bunch of different podcasters for a series of presentations on the topic of companions and rivals. So we are going to be there with our own presentation, but then you can look forward to such exclusive keynote speakers as the Alternate Historian, Totalis Rankium, and History of Persia. So if you would like to attend this great event, we've had it several years before. It's really fun activity. There's also a bit at the end of it where you can just chat with us, which is always good fun. If you would like any tickets, you can go to intelligentspeechonline.com/tickets, and if you use our promo code RULE, RULE, you'll be able to get a 10% discount off the general price, and people will know that we sent you over, so that's great. So that once more, intelligentspeechonline.com/tickets, use the promo code RULE.